Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on, and welcome to Divers Ready. My name's James. It is so great to see all of your smiling faces, and welcome to this, your channel update for January 2021, the first of the new year. As always, I'd just like to check in with you guys at the end of the month, give you some updates and behind the scenes of what we've been up to, what you've got to look forward to on the Divers Ready channel, and then, as always, I will do a bit of a Dive Instructor Q&A. I get a ton of questions through this channel. I always welcome it, and I always like to share the answers with all of you, because I figure if one person's got a question, probably other people out there are thinking the same thing. If you haven't done so already, make your next dive on our subscribe button and click that little bell icon. If you're new to our channel, if this is the first video you're watching, welcome. Let's dive straight in with the update, starting with the fact that, yeah, I missed a video on Monday. Yeah, nothing. Very good reason for that. I was busy. I've been teaching flat out this entire month, back-to-back tech courses, a lot of deep diving, a lot of advanced wreck diving. It's been fantastic, but that unfortunately has meant that I've slipped a little bit behind in my video production schedule. And if I'm ever put in a spot where I have to choose between making a video for YouTube and taking care of my students, I'm always going to choose my students. So there will be times in the future, I'm sure, where I miss an upload and there just isn't a video that Monday. You don't need to all sort of email me and reach out. What happened, dude? Did you die? Where's the video? I can't find it. It's okay. It's good. Don't worry. But the students pay my bills. YouTube doesn't. So it's a very, very simple decision. But in exchange for your patience, how about I share with you a little montage of the diving that I've been doing this month. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed that. Just a little sneak peek of the diving that we've been doing. Yeah, January is a fantastic time of the year to dive in Florida. Yes, the water temperature is a little bit cooler. Still not cold, but cooler. But we're often rewarded with fantastic viz and flat, calm surface conditions, which hopefully you could see there. In other news, our Instagram account is growing, thanks largely to you guys. I put that out at the end of the year video that, you know, we were going to focus a bit more on Instagram and I was going to be sharing more behind the scenes photos, and I've started to do that, and I will get more consistent with it as time goes on. So thank you to all who weren't previously engaged with us on Instagram. If you still haven't done so, it's at Divers Ready, and I'll put a link to our account in the description of this video below. And we appreciate your support on that platform as well. More good stuff to come. Speaking of more good stuff to come, we have a ton of products. One of those videos that I shared in Instagram was just stuff everywhere in the dive locker. We've got so many products right now that are in various stages of testing for the review, some of which is shot, some of which needs more footage and so on. But there will be more review videos coming out. I've got a fantastic new dive light to share with you guys. I just bought a scooter, a DPV, some of you will have seen on Instagram. And I've got a heated undervest, which has made a world of difference this winter. So a lot of review videos will be coming up in February and March as I sort of finish those projects off. That's about all I've got for you right now. So let's dive into the Q&A. All right, I got your questions here on my screen. Let's see what you guys asked. Sean Flood via email asked, what is your take on the Nautilus Lifeline Marine GPS safety device? My take is this, Sean. I think it's a fantastic idea. I haven't personally used that exact one myself, although I have a very dear buddy here in Miami who never gets in the water without one. We go diving all the time, and he's always got it clipped to him. So this is basically a personal locator device, personal location beacon that can be used to communicate with emergency services in the event that you surface from your dive and the boat's gone, or you get blown off of the dive and you can't make it back to your boat. Open water, we all saw that movie, right? A couple that get left behind. That kind of situation is designed to be avoided with those kind of devices. I'm also looking at one by Garmin, which is like a really small mini communicator that comes in a dive housing similar to a camera case. It's got an O-ring seal on it. So it's something I'm probably going to be investing in at some point in the future. I've looked at it for both me and Karina. And yeah, I think they're a thoroughly good idea. The only problem with them is, that I can see, is they come down to user error, right? It's only as good as the charge in the battery. So if you forget to charge it and you carry it with you, and then you go to use it and it's dead, then it's useless. But yeah, as long as you're vigilant about making sure that doesn't happen, then I can only see upsides, to be honest. Hope that answers your question, Sean. Dan Soliday, who's coming on our Sardine Run adventure in July, asks, quick question about 5mm wetsuits. Is it a problem if I can't zip it up all the way on my own? Is that normal for 5mm? It's not really specific to any thickness of wetsuit, Dan. It's really about the zipper and the zipper orientation and your flexibility in your shoulders if you can pull it up by the pull tab, the cord. Best practice is always to have somebody else zip your wetsuit up for you, and that way you can make sure that your zipper isn't getting twisted, that you're not pinching material in between the teeth of the zip, and it's just better for the zip life. So my preference is always to have somebody else zip up my wetsuit for me. You've always got a buddy there, put them to work. That's my best advice on that one, but I don't think it's specific to the thickness of the wetsuit. It's really down to the zipper itself. Thanks for your question, Dan. Ferdi Nadzir asks from Kuala Lumpur, what kind of other servicing and maintenance do we need to do for our single brass and glass gauges? And I think he means other than the O-rings on the spool and greasing those up, if I remember rightly from his longer comment on the video that we put out about gauges. It's a good question. Honestly, not much. You don't want to be taking gauges apart. They're factory sealed. They're designed to withstand high pressure. The board-on tube inside is a high pressure instrument. You don't need to be taking that apart. They're factory sealed. They're basically just wear and tear. But we also had another question from Jeff Wurst. He said, any ballpark figures regarding how long an SPG should last, i.e. roughly how many dives? Or do I just keep an eye on it and make sure that it still reads 0 on the surface? Both. You always want to make sure that the gauge is reading 0 when it's not pressurized, absolutely. And it should last roughly 300, 400 dives. Bear in mind that board-on tube on the inside is a wear and tear item because it's flexing. Hope that answers your question to both of you, Ferdy and Jeff. Thank you ever so much. Mr. Steel 16 asks on YouTube, do you have any videos on how to help more novice divers stay heads up on the surface with a back inflate style BCD? That is an excellent question, Mr. Steel 16. Mr. Steel, style, you know me and names. Come on now. Okay, so you've got a back inflate style BCD, which means all the gas is behind you, which means in the water, it's really easy to get into a nice trim position because that air wants to be on the high side, which means it's going to put you underneath it and you're going to be nice and flat and easy. Trouble is, it also wants to be in that position when you're on the surface. So you're positively buoyant at the beginning or end of a dive, you're trying to chat to your buddy, whatever, and it keeps trying to pitch you onto your face, and you need to fight against that. So yeah, the traditional advice is make sure your shoulder straps are nice and tight, and just lean back into it at like a 45 degrees, so you're wedging the air a little bit under you and it's buoying you up. But if you're still finding that you're having to kick to hold that position, and that means you're swimming away from your body or whatever, just try raising your knees up, and that's gonna shift the balance of your body and make that leaning back easier. But to answer your question strictly, no, I don't have a video on that right now. Maybe that's something I can look at in the future. Thank you very much for your question. Steve Wood asks, do you dive with a backup computer to be fully redundant during a dive? Also a good question, Steve. For technical diving, absolutely. I dive 2 identical computers. Recreational diving, no. I usually dive with one computer, wrist mount this or my Perdix or whatever. I don't use a redundant computer for recreational dives because I'm always inside my no decompression limit, which means if my computer were to fail on the dive, I can thumb the dive, come up, guesstimate the safety stop, 3 minutes at 5 meters, and then exit the water safely. I don't have to run any kind of decompression schedule. Technical dives, I absolutely recommend a redundant computer, and it's best practice if it can be the same computer as your primary, because then you have ultimate familiarity with its working. Hope that answers your question, Steve. Thank you very much for that. Last but not least, this is a cracker. Bob Merrick asks, what should you do first, nitrox or AOW? Love that. We've made videos both on the nitrox course and the advanced open water course. He's asking, what should you do, in what order should you do them? Well, to be honest with you, Bob, I like nitrox straight away. Just, that's what it is, like straight in with open water training. In fact, if you're doing your open water course with me, I will offer you nitrox at a, basically include it in your open water training, and we will do your open water dives on nitrox, and that will just be how you learn to dive, because I think nitrox is that important and has that many benefits. So I would answer your question by saying nitrox first, because you should do it with your open water. And then, as I always recommend, go out and get some experience, get some fun dives after your open water before starting your advanced open water. So there you go, that about concludes our Dive Instructor Q&A for January 2021. If you've got a question that you'd like to ask to your friendly neighborhood dive instructor, why don't you stick it down in the comments of this video below using the hashtag AskDiversReady. If you haven't done so already, please make your next dive on our subscribe button, click that little bell icon, and that way you won't miss any of our future content. And if you learned something from this video, give it the old thumbs up. Until next time, my name's James. This was your Divers Ready channel update for January 2021. Dive safe, dive often.